Money kept stressing me, even when I finally had it. And that's when I realized the problem was never the money. Maybe you know this feeling. You work hard and you think about money a lot. You want more, but part of you tenses up around it. I've been reflecting on my relationship with money, and it hit me. It actually looked exactly like my last relationship. Constant effort, constant tension, and constant hope that this time it would finally feel safe. Just quick to let you know, this is also the reason why we are opening up the 7-day manifestation reset challenge, to look at the root, not just strategy. And the link is below this video. I'll come back to that. So first of all, my story, and maybe you can relate to this. Maybe you're a creator, maybe you are an entrepreneur, maybe you have a dream of feeling free, feeling financial free. I spent years fighting for and even fighting money. Always stressed about it, chasing it, trying to figure it out, trying to fix it. And very important note here is that I went from a $1.5 million debt and I paid it all off. And I ended up with quite some money in my account. But actually, when I had the money, I still felt something was off. I wasn't relaxed. I wasn't grounded. Kind of like, is this really it? And a fear of losing it. I shared this many times, but on the outside it looked very successful. Internally, something still wasn't settled. So my last relationship and the parallel here to money and the thing that I've been reflecting on, I had the same pattern in my last relationship. I also shared that story in another video, but I ended up with a woman that I thought was the dream of my life. But it ended up draining me for around 6 years. It was a narcissistic dynamic. I was always adjusting, always trying harder, always trying to please, always hoping that if I just did more, it would finally work and she would finally commit herself to me. I was fighting for love. And here's the reflection for me, that it was the same way that I was fighting for money. Tension instead of flow. Effort instead of safety. Survival instead of trust. And what I also realized was that, and this is a deep pattern inside of me that I had for so many years, that I became aware of, is that part of me wanted success. Part of me wanted this woman. And then there was also a part of me that didn't feel safe with it. like there was a part of me that didn't feel safe with that woman. So my energy was split. And on a deep level, it was the same with money. Part of me wanted the money, and another part of me didn't feel safe with the money. Reasons could be spiritual, reasons could be for people not loving me, and maybe even reasons for me not loving myself because I was more fixed in my mind around chasing the money. I know this is a bit deep. So, as I say, this is kind of a split energy. Parts of you want money, and another part of you fears what money brings. And manifestation stalls. And very important here, this is not because you're broken. It's not because manifestation doesn't work. But it's because your nervous system is still protecting you. Meaning, like, if you really want something, but something deep inside of you carries fear around this, that part deep inside of you will do its best to protect you, do its best for you not to be around money. Because when you are with money, you're afraid of losing it, you're afraid of how you are becoming, you are afraid of a lot of things. Makes sense? My reflections, at least. So, and you could say for some people, they think, okay, it's the universe delivering. Think about this, you have one voice is going, I want money. And then you have another voice is going, I'm afraid of money. And the universe is going like, make a decision. But it's not that easy. Because if this is something inside of you, as it has been for me for years, it's not just something that shows up and then we can just rewrite the code in 5 seconds. So what do we do instead? Now my journey, at least, and the people that I help today, is around, instead of hustling even more, instead of grinding even more, because when we do that, it's like noise. It's getting even more difficult to feel what's going on inside, to become aware what's going on inside. And this is why, and I've been in the coaching communities for many years now, this is why, from my belief, from my experience, that strategies might be very good, but if the thing inside is afraid of money, afraid of who are we with money, that thing is kind of like in survival mode and will do its best to protect you. So even with the best strategy out there, we'll still manage to put it nicely to mess it up. And I did, so I know what I'm speaking about. So what I am doing and inviting people to do now is this. The problem was never about ambition or desire or lack of discipline. The problem was that for me, my system associated money with danger, pressure, loss, responsibility, visibility. And I even know, because I worked so much with this, where, at least what I'm aware of, where these deep-rooted beliefs or the energies in my system comes from. And I can share one with you here, because I do believe that many people, if they feel into it, will begin to recognize this. So, in my childhood, and this is a bit deep, so just take a deep breath. In my childhood, I had a mom and a dad. And my dad was an alcoholic. And he was, when he was not drinking, this sweet and soft and caring and nice and humorous person of the two. Nothing right, nothing wrong here. This is just how it is and was. And he actually just passed away not long ago. So finally he has peace now after a long life with that problem with alcohol. Now, this little boy that's speaking here, when I was a kid, I loved being with my dad when he was not drinking, because he was fun, calm, nice, sweet. And I just enjoyed speaking with him, playing with him like all kids. Now, one day, very nice, happy, very good. The other day, after drinking, another person, not physically abusive, but the shift in psychology, the shift in the face, in the way of speaking and all of that, even as a little kid. What happened to me was that nice dad, alcoholic dad, nice dad, alcoholic dad. All the time, I never knew which dad came home from work. I never knew which dad would show up at the birthday party. Take a deep breath. So what does this do to a little kid, a little child, a little boy or girl? Here's something that is very, very nice, and I really enjoy this, and then it's taken away from me, and not even just taken away from me. This thing, this person here, feels so strange and off and not nice. Back is nice, then comes not nice. Back is nice, then comes not nice. Day after day. Which means trust is one word that kept coming up for me. Trust is something that has been so difficult for me. And I've seen this with people that I've helped through this. Because how can we trust when this is something that we experienced most of our life when we were kids? How can we trust? We learned this is nice, and then it's taken away. I've helped people who have had only alcoholic dads or moms, and that was not necessarily the same roots in the belief system, in the nerve system, but the nervousness, the distrust, all of these things, they could relate to my experiences. So you see, if we start with the relationship, and other relationships for me, but the last one was the one that really got me, cracked me right open, where my inner journey really started, even though I spent, I think now, still more than $250,000 on coaches and mentors and around the world. that relationship cracked me right open, and finally I began to understand, wow, there's another part of me than all the things that I try to accomplish. So I got a little sidetracked here. I hope this makes sense. This is more about resonating with what I'm sharing. It's more about feeling into this. It's more about feeling where's this true for me too? Even though it can be painful, because that pain in there, this leads me back on track, that pain in there is the exact thing that keeps us watching the same movie in our reality. For me, relationships, yes, I've been with some amazing people, women, friends, but when it became very intimate, opening up the heart, guess what? I ruined it. Because I was afraid. Good, nice, soft, funny dad, alcoholic dad. I was afraid that this would end and something else would show up. So instead of having that experience, my nervous system, my deep-rooted beliefs did all it could to protect me. So it broke up the relationships. Makes sense? And here comes the thing, back to the money part. Same thing. When I had the money, I was afraid of losing it because that was something deep-rooted inside of me. And when I didn't have the money or didn't have the relationship that I wanted, or the woman like the last one was messing with my mind, I fought for it. Like this little boy trying to make his dad stay in this soft, calm, funny, nice to be with mode. So this little kid, this little boy here, learned in a very young age, took a lot of things on his shoulders, a responsibility on his shoulders to make his dad stop shifting. And that was a program installed in very early ages that just kept running in my life. Deep breath. So, for me, where I am today, manifestation isn't about chasing or proving or fighting. For me, real manifestation starts when effort turns into alignment. When money doesn't feel like a threat. When love doesn't feel like something you have to earn. And when action becomes calm, steady, not from fear. So, if money still stresses you, or relationship or something else is the same pattern, even when you believe you're doing everything right, I had a call with a person just a week ago that was hustling and grinding and trying to figure everything out, only to see more of the same stuff showing up, which was not what the person wanted. And inside, something was protecting that person from having what the person actually wants. So I'm just saying again, if money, love, or something else, but these are the two things that I hear most about, maybe health also, keep stresses you somehow, even when you're doing everything right. I'll invite you to think that, or you can just ask yourself this: it might be that there's nothing wrong with you. And you can ask it as a question: could it be that there's actually nothing wrong with me? You might just be fighting where you're meant to feel safe. If this resonates, this is all about what we're doing. You are welcome to join the free 7-day manifestation reset challenge. This is about becoming aware. It's about seeing and then shifting from there. It's free and it's in our community and manifestation community, and the link is below. So my invitation is this, and ask yourself, could it be like this? I don't need to fight life to make it work. Thank you.